All-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota, beautiful Target Field. This is game 3 of this 4-game series against the Minnesota Twins. The Blue Jays have won the first 2. It is a spectacular afternoon, and as we have seen Thursday and Friday, a lot of Blue Jay fans in attendance. The Blue Jay hitters themselves love hitting in this ballpark. This has always been a favorite stop on the road trip, and you look at what they have done, Pat. These guys love hitting in this ballpark.
Let's put this in perspective just a little bit. An OPS of 800 is outstanding, and the Blue Jays, these 5 hitters have just blown right through that. Bautista, Saunders, Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Martin, and they added to it last night with 4 more home runs. I specifically talked to Jose Bautista about that in this ballpark. He said it's not necessarily the ballpark is a home run type of ballpark. He said that the pitchers for the Minnesota Twins over the years have not been hard throwers. They don't strike you out. They give up a lot of solid contact, and for the Blue Jays with their power hitters, it just fits when they come to this stadium here. Michael Saunders with a home run, and then Darwin Barney's going to finish it off with his second home run deep to left field. So the Blue Jays love hitting at this place.
Blue Jays have scored 12 runs on 23 hits in the first 2 games. And the fans of the Blue Jays, and John Gibbons in particular, have been waiting for the offense to turn things around, and last night's game was a good indication they might be ready to really break out. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons. The Blue Jays still 2 games under 500, 4th in the American League East. Regular top of the order down in that 5th spot is Troy Tulowitzki, and Tulowitzki really starting to heat up. Over his last 11 games, he has 13 hits, including 7 extra base hits, and he's driven in 9 runs in those 11 games. And Darwin Barney, when you think about how infrequent his playing time is, these are pretty impressive numbers. 18 games, he has 17 hits, batting .362 with a double, and his second home run he hit last night deep into the second deck in left.
Way back there, and he was enjoying that. I'll tell you what kind of year it's been for the Minnesota Twins already. This is Pat Dean, who will be the 3rd Twins pitcher to make his major league debut this year. Taylor Rogers, we saw earlier in this series. Jose Barrios, who has already been sent down. Pat Dean, this is his first major league start. He's had a couple of outings in relief. He tossed 5 1/3 innings in relief of Jose Barrios May 16th. That was at Detroit. He received his first career decision in that game. That was a loss. He doesn't throw very hard, and Blue Jays will be scouting him out early in this game.
Pat Dean, a 3rd-round pick of Minnesota in 2010. He pitched his collegiate baseball at Boston College. He was born and raised in Connecticut, a Northeast pitcher. Jose Bautista is set. Dean ready. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Bautista is 3 for 9 in the series. He has a home run. He's driven in 3. .229 average for the season. This is a high pop-up. Dozier, second baseman on the edge of the grass, is there. Bautista's retired. 1 down. Well, the Twins are looking for any combination they can put together, and you got a little different lineup again today. Robbie Grossman had a big game last night. He is back in left field. Danny Santana, Darren Mastriani, the former Blue Jay, is in right this afternoon. Luke, Nunes, Dozier, and Young Ho Park across the diamond from 3rd to 1st, and Kurt Suzuki back behind the plate. He opened up this series behind the plate on Thursday night.
They haven't had any problems in the outfield so far. That's Danny Santana in center field. Great speed. He was 14 games early this year with a right hamstring strain. But he has been running everything down in the outfield in this series against the Blue Jays so far. He's got great speed.
He's had a good series with the bat as well. He's 4 for 8 with a triple. This is Josh Donaldson. Had a home run and a double in last night's game. He is 2 for 9 so far in the first 2 games of this series. Donaldson's home run was his first home run since May 1st. Been quite a drought for him, but I think more than anything, that double he hit off the wall and right was probably a sign of good things.
Yeah, go the other way if you have to. It was also a drought in RBIs for Donaldson. since that home run.
Broken bat, little dribbler to short. 2 up, 2 down.
He had gone 72 plate appearances without an RBI. That was his previous longest. That was 76 before he hit that home run. So maybe Josh Donaldson is ready to start driving in some big runs for the Blue Jays.
So 2 up, 2 down for Pat Dean. And now he'll deal with Edwin Encarnacion. What's going on now? Toby Basner and Donaldson are in some kind of discussion. I'm not sure what happened as we were looking at Encarnacion. Did he throw him out of the game?
You know, I'm not sure, Buck. Kind of in between plays. Donaldson was just running back down the line. I don't know what happened there.
Now, Toby Basner just put his lineup card away as if he wrote something on it, but not sure what happened or what led to this. And Toby Basner, he threw him out. Toby Basner throws him out of the game for comments. Donaldson walking back after grounding out. He said, I was talking to somebody else, but evidently he said something and Basner thought it was directed towards him. So Donaldson has been thrown out of the game.
You know, he was pointing to the bench or somebody beyond the umpire after that signal from the umpire that he'd thrown him out. I mean, what, first inning, ground out? Why would he have something to say to the umpire? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't think he said it to the umpire. It looked like he was hollering at a fan or somebody in the Twins dugout. Three and one to Encarnacion. 2 outs, top of the first. Fireworks already. Foul back. It's a full count.
Could it have been a pitch to Donaldson that was borderline? He might have said something to him.
I don't think so. I didn't think anything in the at-bat. What I think may have happened was he may have been responding to a fan or something that said something to him, and as he was walking past home plate, he responded to it.
Well, let's see. Pat Dean throws a pitch that's called a strike, and Josh isn't happy about that, but he's not saying anything.
Not sure if he did or he didn't. 3-2, 2 outs. Encarnacion just barely fouled that thing off. Ball was inside.
That was the quickest hook I've ever seen in my life. Second batter.
I've seen guys thrown out in the umpire meeting.
But those are usually coaches, right?
Yeah.
They're not normally players.
No, that's unfortunate. We'll get to the bottom of it. But for an umpire, and Josh had said something, and obviously we don't have any idea what he said, but whatever it was enough to trigger Toby Basner, the home plate umpire. Now the 3-2 pitch, ball 4. So Encarnacion draws the 2-out walk, and that'll bring Justin Smoak to the plate. We've been talking about Smoak and Saunders and how hot they have been. Justin has a chance early on.
Gaining confidence, I think, with every at-bat. Been known as a glove man in his career who has occasional power, but this year with some consistent playing time and a better approach at the plate, he has got that batting average up to 295.
He goes after the first pitch and lifts a high pop-up into shallow right. Dozier, the second baseman, is there. And the inning is over. Blue Jays leave a runner in the top of the first. When we come back, Jay Happ will take on the top of the Twins batting order. Toby Basner as Donaldson says something, and Basner immediately reacts and throws him out. And it looked to me like he pointed like I was saying something to him over there. I wasn't talking to you. But earlier in the bat, there was a borderline pitch. Johnson appeared to be saying something about the pitch, but not face to face by any means.
Those day games after night games. Everybody's got the short fuse, huh?
Well, let's take a look at the lineup for Palmolive's Minnesota Twins. Right at the top of the order, Ryan Dozier. He was a DH in last night's game against Jay Happ. He's 3 for 7. He's got a pair of home runs in those 3 hits. And then Young Ho Park, the first baseman, he leads all American League rookies with 9 home runs. He was not in the lineup last night. Played as the DH on Thursday night.
Jay Happ gets ready for his 9th start of the season. Former 3rd-round draft pick of the Phillies back in 2004 has gotten off to a great start. 5-1 with a 340 earned run average. Last time out, his shortest of the season. 8 earned runs in 7 innings. The first loss of 2016 for Jay Happ, and he just could not find the strike zone. He was saying that he kept getting on the side of every pitch, and balls that were supposed to be sinkers became cutters, and they stayed over the middle of the plate.
Ball on a strike to leadoff man Brian Dozier, the second baseman. Dozier batting .208 for the season. We mentioned he's 3 for 7 against Jay Happ. Little pop up into shallow center. Long run for everybody. Pilar gets there and he makes the catch. Kevin Pilar starting in center field this afternoon. He was not in the starting lineup last night. Finished defensively in center at the end of the game. Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista in the outfield for the Blue Jays. Defensive changes already. Darwin Barney started the game at second. He's now at third. Tulowitzki and Goins. Goins comes off the bench to take over for Donaldson. Smokes at first. Martin's behind the plate.
Ryan started yesterday, was pinch hit for it. He's the first guy off the bench today. He's going to play at second base with Josh Donaldson already getting the heave-ho out of this ball game. Darwin Barney will play third.
Smoke in foul territory. Takes a pop-up off the bat of Nunes on the first pitch. 2 pop-outs here for Happ in the first. Miguel Sano will face Jay Happ. Sano, normally the right fielder, today is the DH. Joe Mauer gets the day off with the lefty Happ on the mound.
He can absolutely crush a fastball. So I think Jay's going to have to use that sinker. He's going to have to use that cutter, and he's going to have to use that curveball. Sano has had problems in the month of May hitting the off-speed pitch. Coming into the game yesterday, 0.74 versus the off-speed pitch in the month of May. So change speeds on him.
Sano hitting .234 overall for the month of May. But he's got those bingo numbers on the off-speed pitches.
Yep, and you got to keep the ball down and away too. He's had problems with that.
But late on that pitch, and one thing Happ does very effectively, even this season when he's developed such a good sinker, he can elevate that fastball.
With the 4-seam fastball, he can throw it up. That's where he used to live forever. High fastball. And batters just could not pick up the spin. They couldn't pick up the speed of the ball. They would swing through 92-mile-an-hour fastballs that were up in the strike zone. Well, to that, he has added his cutter and his 2-seamer, a little sinker that goes down and away, and he's been getting a lot more ground ball outs.
2-2 pitch to Sano. Downstairs, he missed with the changeup. Trevor Plouffe hitting cleanup. He'll be next if Sano can keep the inning alive. And he does. He takes ball 4 inside. Pat mentioned the short outing for Happ last time out. He threw 51 pitches in 2 innings, charged with 8 earned runs on 7 hits and walked 1 batter. By far the shortest outing of his season.
Also gave up a couple of home runs in that game. That was to Tampa on the 16th.
Trevor Plouffe is 0 for 8 in this series. First pitch strike from Happ. His power numbers are down dramatically.
He missed some time earlier this year with some injuries, so he has been in and out of the lineup. Can't catch up to that high fastball right there. I've seen a lot of hitters this early in the season just not get on track. They've been behind the ball. I think with the weather starting to warm up and some consistent at-bats coming along, you're going to start seeing guys hitting.
Jay Happ throws that fastball past Trevor Plouffe. Scoreless after an inning here in Minnesota.
It's time to log on and enter the following code in your My Blue Jays homepage. It is MBJ2741. You can earn My Blue Jays points simply for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and your code must be entered by 11:59 tonight. We will have a new code for you tomorrow. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. You can see a lot of Blue Jay fans here in attendance once again. It's been a great weekend for them so far. They're out. They've seen their ball club win 2 games and looking for 3 in a row.
Why not spend the holiday weekend right here in Minnesota watching the Jays?
It's a perfect setup. A lot of fans have driven down from the middle of Canada. They've flown in from both coasts, and they're having a good time here. Troy Tulowitzki rolls over on that outside pitch. Plouffe had trouble getting a grip on it and throws it in the dirt. Trevor Plouffe never really got a good grip on it, and he kind of panicked and tried to shovel it over to first base, and it didn't work.
I'm surprised he didn't gather himself and crow hop and get his feet underneath him instead of trying to throw all the way across the diamond on the run. He had time. Get in there, backhand that ball, plant that right foot, get your feet underneath you, and make a good strong throw. Might be thinking about that strikeout that he just had. Just throws that ball over there, and Park, who's only played 12 games over there at first base, can't come up with it.
But you could see Plouffe never really had a good grip on that baseball when he brought it out of his glove. It is an infield hit for Tulowitzki, and that'll bring Michael Saunders to the plate. Michael had a 3-hit game last night. He has 4 hits in the series, including a double and a home run. Average up to 317 with 7 homers.
Built on that good May, 324 this month of May, including 3 home runs. Or that pitch that he hit for a home run, it was a breaking ball, and he stayed right on it. His 4th home run against left-handed pitching. The whole key for Michael Saunders is he's got a lot of movement in his swing. He's got to start it early to make sure his hands get back into the hitting position.
Pulls this one foul.
And his timing has been perfect so far this year. Had a chance to talk with Brooke Jacoby this morning, and I was asking him about that. And he said he just has to keep reminding him he's got the exaggerated hand movement. Just started early. He said it's a lot like Ben Revere. Remember Ben Revere had all that hand movement? Just get it started early enough so you can get your hands back to hit.
Upstairs, you can see the way the Twins defense is set up. It reflects the fact that Saunders has been hitting the ball all over the park. Fairly much straight away. Shortstop slightly toward the bag in a pull mode.
They did this last night with a runner at first base. They played straight up, but when nobody was on base, they put 3 infielders on the right side. Michael took advantage of it last night with a single through the hole his first time up.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY expert sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Minnesota Twins baseball has been pretty special since they moved here from Washington. Russell Martin foul tips it off the catcher's glove. Russell is 2 for 8 in this series. He has a walk in the 2 games. Average creeping up. It has been a slow climb for Russell.
Still looking for that first home run, and he too has been making some adjustments at the plate. And it's a constant from series to series, pitcher to pitcher, at bat to at bat, making adjustments. DJ's feeling that his leg kick at times gets a little bit too high.
Hot shot, Plouffe at third, second for 1. Back to first, double play. Russell Martin hit it hard, but right to the third baseman, and they turn the 5-4-3 double play to end the top half of the second.
Second base to third base in this game, and that is the life of a utility baseball player. I spoke to Darwin today about being ready and being adjusted to come into games late and to play so sparingly. He said the hitting part he's got down. He spends a lot of time in the cage between innings. He spends a lot of extra time with batting practice. He said coming in for fielding is a little more of an anxious situation because you come in pretty much cold. John Gibbons also told me that what guys like Barney do are really hard to have in the league because it's a matter of accepting what your role is. Everybody wants to be an everyday player, but for guys to understand the role and to accept them are very rare, and they have a keeper in Darwin Barney. Buck?
Very valuable asset on this ball club because he can play all 3 of the infield positions. Keeps himself ready. Mentally, he was an everyday player. So it's difficult to keep your mind in the game, but you have to work at it.
When you have guys like that, you hold on to them. That's why when you look around baseball and you see these guys, 34, 35, 36 years old, they're still playing and their stats aren't very good. Well, there's other reasons why they're still playing. They're valuable guys off your bench in these types of situations.
This is the first baseman, Young-Ho Park, in his first season in the major leagues. Power has been okay, average at 233. big swing, and he's got a lot of power.
Yes, he does. I talked to Tom Brunanski, the hitting coach for Minnesota, and I was asking him about him. He said, you know what? He's coming from the other side of the world, and he is learning about this league, and he's learning about the pitchers. This is all foreign to him. So there's going to be a learning curve for Park, and right now, Jay Happ takes care of him.
Second strikeout of the ball game for Jay Happ as he struck out Plouffe to end the first and gets Park to start the second. Jay Happ, and you mentioned it, he was having trouble with his sinker ball. He was around the sinker ball and it was cutting. What kind of an impact does that have on a pitcher if you're thinking it's going one direction and it goes in the other direction?
You try to make the adjustments out on that mound and you try and fix it.
Barney with a nice grab at third base takes one away from Ronnie Grossman. Grossman had a 3-hit game last night in his debut with the Twins.
Swung at the first pitch, his first at bat, and hit a double. It looked like he was going to swing at the first pitch and pick up a hit. Not so fast, says Darwin Barney. Sets his feet. See the difference there between the Plouffe throw and the Barney throw? He got his feet underneath him and made an accurate throw.
2 quick outs there at Mastriani.
To finish that thought, Buck, about Jay Happ in the sinker versus the cutter, what happened, he was expecting the ball to go down and away to righties, and they were cutting back over the middle of the plate. So he started to try and make the adjustment with his pitching motion, and that really messed him up. And it seemed like the more he tried, the more frustrated he would get. He just could not find that release point, and he just had to chalk it up for one of those starts that just nothing went right.
2 balls and a strike to Mastriani.
You could see it in his windup. It was just a little bit different. It was shorter. He was trying to get the arm up, and he was trying to get it into that slot where he needed to make pitches.
Ooh, nice play by Smoke. He'll go to the bag, and that's a quick inning for Jay Happ. A strikeout and a couple of ground outs. We've played 2 innings, no score in Minnesota.
Tonight, and it will be their first time hosting an Eastern Conference playoff game. Yes, the Raptors and the Cavaliers. It is game number 3. Raptors lost the first 2. DeMar and company looking to find a way to stop King James. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock Eastern with Raptors Central Playoff Edition tonight on Sportsnet as well. You can stream it live on Sportsnet now. The question is, Buck, can the Raptors find a way to stop Mr. James?
Well, they're going to have to do everything they can to try to corral him and slow him down a little bit. I don't think you can stop him. You can only hold him down.
Well, there's other guys on that team that are pretty good. Kyrie Irving is pretty good too. So is Kevin Love.
Tough assignment, but they're home at least. I have to support all the great fans. Kevin Pillar in the 8th spot this afternoon. High fly ball into center. Danny Santana coming in, makes the catch. 1 quick out here in the 3rd.
First time through the lineup for the Blue Jays, and they're taking a look at Pat Dean. He's 26 years old. He was a third-round draft pick in 2010. He doesn't throw real hard. His fastball's in the low 90s, curveball. He's also got a slider that some people are calling it a cutter. One thing to remember, though, in the minor leagues, 140 games, he gave up 69 home runs in the minor leagues.
That is a lot of home runs in the minor leagues because hitters generally don't develop their power until they get older and advanced as hitters.
That's where he gave up most of his home runs, in Double-A and in Triple-A. But that should fit right in with the Blue Jays, what they have been doing in this series.
Darwin Barney. 2 balls and a strike. Barney hit a long home run last night, and his only at bat hit it into the second deck. You see his last 18 games. We talked about the 362 average. But the interesting thing about it is he's not a regular player. So you're going over those 18 games. It goes all the way back to April 22nd. So it's a big span, and he has to really maintain consistency with inconsistent at bats.
You spend some time in the batting cage. You get as much extra work as possible to keep your timing at the plate. You also have to keep your timing in the infield, and he's a utility type of infield, so he'll take ground balls at third and short. We have seen him at second base taking ground balls. As an extra man, sometimes you work as hard, maybe harder than everyday players.
Yeah, I think extra men do have to work at all 3 positions every day when they're not playing.
You know, one of the things you have to do also as an extra man, you can't just take ground balls and swing the bat. You have to go out into the outfield and run sprints. You got to keep your legs strong, because if you don't and you start playing and running, that's when you get injured.
Barney is timing up Pat Dean effectively in this at bat. Pat Dean is a 3rd-round pick. We mentioned it. He pitched at Boston College and was signed by a longtime scout, John Wilson, who's been with the Twins about 20 years. And he's been responsible for the northeast part of the United States.
He fits their mold, doesn't he?
Throws a lot of strikes, not overpowering.
Nice, clean mechanics. Yeah. Mature.
Reminds me of Tommy Malone. Paul Molitor would just as soon have some immature 100-mile-an-hour pitchers. There's a drive in the alley, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Barney is headed for second, and he'll get there as he continues to swing a red-hot bat. That was a good at bat. You could see he was on everything Dean threw him.
Threw that little cutter on the inside part of the plate. He whacked a couple of balls foul down the left field line. Minnesota Twins right fielders have been playing on the line this whole series, and the Blue Jays have taken advantage of that gap into right center field. Barney slices his ball into the gap, and by the time Santana runs it down, Darwin's in scoring position. I thought it might be a Miguel Sano thing because he's a young outfielder playing so close to the line, but it's the whole series. That's Darren Mastriani out in right field.
And Mastriani is a natural center fielder, a very good defender. So here's the benefits of Bautista hitting in the leadoff spot. Number 9 hitter hits a double. He comes to the plate with a man in scoring position. The Blue Jays scored 9 runs on 14 hits last night. Hit 4 home runs. Bautista had one of those 4 home runs. High drive to left field. Grossman is back, watching this one go into the second deck. Home run, Bautista. Going to change the name of this ballpark. Bautista, his 9th of the season, his 13th here at Target Field.
He's made a couple of adjustments at the plate over the last week or so, and he's starting to drive the ball like we saw last year. They've taken that right foot and they've put it closer to the plate, almost touching the line of the batter's box. And he's looking for the ball out in front, trying to pull the ball to left field. The bat speed has returned. The home runs have returned. Jose Bautista looks like he did last year when he hit 40 home runs. One more time. Look at that right foot right on the line. Pick the foot up, get that timing, pull your hands through, get the bat barrel to the ball. Told you that Dean has given up his share of home runs in the minor leagues, and that could fit well in this Blue Jay lineup. Jose gets him off to a 2-0 start.
Well, that was a good swing, and you can see his last 16 games at Target Field, 11 home runs and 17 RBIs. Hitting nearly 400 in this ballpark.
We were seeing Jose being fooled by a lot of pitches, getting beat by fastballs. Now it's like, give me the ball, let me see how far I can hit it to left field. It has worked out.
Ryan Goins did not start in the game. He took over when Donaldson was ejected in the top of the first. Bautista had popped out for the first out of the ball game. Then Donaldson came to the plate. Toby Basner's the home plate umpire, and this is a called strike, and Donaldson appeared to object to that strike call. Then after he grounded out, he said something in the direction of the umpire, Toby Basner, and was thrown out. And it looks like Donaldson is saying, I was talking to somebody over there.
Looked like he was pointing right over the shoulder of the home plate umpire to somebody in the stands or on the bench or something like that. But to no avail. One at bat this afternoon for the MVP.
Edwin Encarnacion walked his first time up with 2 outs. This is an important series for the Blue Jays. They won the first 2 games of this series. The bat's starting to come around. They need to continue to build on that game from last night. Encarnacion foul tips it into the glove of Suzuki. But the Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead. Garwood Barney doubled to the alley in right center. That set the table for Jose Bautista. And he doesn't miss it often here in Minnesota.
It's a premium experience for a smart price. And Buck, with all the fans here from Canada, I imagine many of them flew on WestJet because they do fly here to Minneapolis.
You bet they did, and there's a lot of Blue Jay fans here, and they're having a great weekend. So far, so good. The Blue Jays have won the first 2 and have a 2-0 lead in Game 3 of this 4-game series. Jay Happ staked to the lead. Happ off to a good start. He's retired 6 of the 7 batters he's faced so far. This is Kurt Suzuki, the catcher. Suzuki played in the opener. He went 0 for 2 with a walk. High pop up into shallow center. Pilar comes in. He gets there and makes the catch. 1 out. Well, the Blue Jays have really pitched well all season long, but they have been exceptional on the road. And you look at their ERA, they're better than the Mariners, Indians, and the White Sox. That's a pretty impressive list.
Yeah, and they work well as a group, I think. You've got the hard thrower, Aaron Sanchez, who we saw last night. You got the strike thrower, the changeup type of artist, if you will, in Marco Estrada. You've got the knuckleball pitcher. You got a lefty in Jay Happ. You got a little bit of everything with this team, and I think that makes it very tough for teams to game plan, because you got 5 different types of game plans you have to get ready for.
Different style of pitchers for sure.
And then you get Marcus Stroman, who can throw what, 6 or 7 different pitches over for strikes at any time. We'll get a chance to see Marcus tomorrow afternoon.
Danny Santana, switch hitter, batting right-handed against Jay Happ. He's had a good series. He's 4 for 8 in this series so far. Blue Jays are guarding against the bunt. He's dropped down 2 bunts in this series.
He's played great defense in the outfield. Also had a triple yesterday. Aaron Sanchez was saying before the game today that that triple really upset him. He said he had to reach back for a little something extra to finish off that inning.
Pilar again, this time in the alley in right center. Well, you heard a cheer on that last foul ball, and the fans here appreciative of this great catch. Watch this fan. Barehanded from the second deck, no problem at all. They got a nice round of applause. Everybody was impressed by his skills.
Still got the cell phone, too. Huh? How about that?
2 outs, top of the order. Dozier takes a strike. Fly ball to left. Saunders has room backing up near the warning track, but another fly ball out. Jay Happ has allowed just 1 base runner to reach.
Tonight, it's game 4 between the Blues and the Sharks. San Jose leading that series 2-1. It is 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on CBC. And Buck, Logan Couture, the Sharks, is a huge Blue Jays fan, so what better way to prep for his game tonight than to sit and watch our broadcast today?
I bet you he's doing just that, because there are a lot of hockey players that love to watch baseball, especially so many players have come from Ontario. Big Blue Jay fans. There's a young Blue Jay fan that's got a fistful of ice cream right now.
Not for long. It's going to be gone.
Smoke, Tulowitzki, and Saunders for the Blue Jays. 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the Blue Jays lineup. Smoke popped out to the second baseman his first time up. Blue Jays lead it 2-0. Jose Bautista, in case you're just joining us, a 2-run home run, his 9th home run of the season. Bautista's 4th home run in May. Little looper into right. That's going to be caught by Darren Mastriani. He left his feet. We mentioned he's a former center fielder, so he's a good outfielder. He's got good speed and a nice diving catch to Rob Smoke.
We also mentioned that they really shade their right fielder towards the line. That allows them to make that catch. You see, he's not even in the picture. Ball off the end of the bat, and Mastriani takes away a hit from Justin Smoke. That's a fine play. You better be sure you're going to catch this ball, because if it gets by him, that's extra bases.
Troy Tulowitzki had an infield hit to the third baseman. Start to second. Tulowitzki really starting to turn things around.
You know what he's doing? He is handling that outside pitch.
Hot shot. Caught by Nunes. Low liner. Another good at bat for Tulowitzki.
Teams have been trying to pitch him away. He's staying on the ball. That double last night to right center field was a thing of beauty.
Michael Saunders struck out on a breaking ball in the second. Saunders has done a nice job against lefty pitching, coming into this game batting .295. He's hit 4 home runs against the lefties, and this time, Pat, as you mentioned, they're playing him to pull on the infield.
Yeah, runner on first base, they'll play straight up, nobody on. They did this last night. They'll put those 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond. That'll open up the left side if he chooses to stay on that breaking ball. Slash it the other way.
They pitch him away, tempting him to go the other way.
There is some confusion, if you will, saying, wow, what's up with that? Because Michael can handle that ball, and he can hit that ball the other way.
Yeah, if the only reason you're playing the shortstop in his normal position is the double play, I don't agree with that, because you're opening up holes for Saunders to hit it on the ground. He hit it on the ground, but this is right to the third baseman. Almost threw that one away. 3 up, 3 down. Nice defense in right to start the inning there. Mastriani helps out Pat Dean, takes a hit away from Justin Smoke. The Blue Jays have an early 2-0 lead.
Junior Jays Saturday is presented by Boston Pizza. Special price kids tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets and buck with the Jays out of town this Saturday. Our next Junior Jays Saturday will be a week from today with the Boston Red Sox in town.
Now, that's always going to be a great Saturday for the Junior Jays to have the Red Sox in town, and Boston really doing a great job swinging the bats. Jackie Bradley Jr. has gotten off to a great start to his season. At the start of play today, the Red Sox a game behind the front-running Baltimore Orioles.
25-game hit streak. What do you think about the roof being open next weekend?
Yeah, I think that's a must-do. Get that roof open, get the weather nice, and we'll have outdoor baseball at Rogers Center. Just changes the whole atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Today, what a gorgeous afternoon.
Eduardo Nunes popped out to the first baseman on one pitch, his first time up. This is a drive down the left field line. That's going to go up against the wall. Nunes is headed for second, and he'll get there with his 8th double of the season, a leadoff double.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with turbo. The 2016 North American Car of the Year.
That was the first hit for Minnesota, leadoff double here in the 4th. Just the second base runner they've had against Jay Happ. Miguel Sano walked his first time up.
Maybe their only consistent home run hitter in their lineup. They put a lot of pressure on this young kid to stick him in a cleanup spot at such an early age in his development.
They've been talking about him for a couple of years. He missed the entire 14th season with elbow surgery, had Tommy John surgery. He was a third baseman initially, and obviously with Plouffe now playing third, they've asked him to make the adjustment and transition to right field.
Came up last year in the middle of the field, or excuse me, in the middle of the season. So this is the first time that he's made a team out of spring training, and there's adjustments to be made. You're playing in cold weather, you're playing in the big leagues. There's a lot of expectations on you for such a young kid. They're also expecting you to hit like you did in the minor leagues. All the home runs, all the RBIs. He had some big home run seasons in the minor leagues.
Now, this is the adjustment process for young hitters. You can see Upton has 64 strikeouts, and then Sano with 60 second. Brett Laurie has 57, and Mike Napoli.
Minor leagues, they don't execute game plans pitching wise that they can at the big league level. So if they find a hole in your swing, they'll expose it.
Sano had 20 home run season in 2011, 28 in 2012 when he drove in 100 runs in the Midwest League. But then, as we mentioned, he missed the entire 2014 season. It's a high fly ball. Nunez going back to tag at second. Pilar sets up for the throw to third. It's a good throw, and it's in time. Right on the money. What a beauty.
That is the part of Kevin Pillar's play in the outfield that doesn't get a lot of recognition, but it's one of his finest attributes, his throwing ability. That's going to be his 5th outfield assist, and it's a perfect throw. He got behind the baseball. He got his momentum coming in towards third base. And look how accurate this throw is. He takes a lot of pride in his throwing ability, in his accuracy. This is right on the base. Can't do it any better than that.
Darwin Barney put tag on Nunez, and Jay Happ very appreciative of the effort, and the Twins aren't going to challenge the call. Nunez gives up the bag. It's a double play, and Kevin Pillar picks up another assist, and you're right, he did it perfectly.
Here's the slide, slow-mo up close. It's on the elbow. If that throw is anywhere other than where it was, he's at third base with just one out.
It was a perfect throw. Trevor Plouffe goes after the first pitch and misses it. Little tapper back to Happ. Oh, what a turnaround inning. Thanks to Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar with the double play. Throws out Nunes at third. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung Broadcast Studio. One, it'll be the Orioles out in Anaheim to take on the Angels. It all starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And you get a chance to see Kevin Gausman, the young right-hander for the Orioles, go up against Matt Shoemaker. And you might get to see Tim Lincecum, who just signed with the Angels. So he's probably going to work out of the bullpen to start. But they just announced that he is going to pitch for the Angels out of the bullpen.
Orioles off to another fast start. They're 10 games over 500. They've got the most wins. In fact, they're tied with Chicago with the most wins in the American League with 25.
Russell Martin get into a double play his first time up. Pat Dean has allowed just 3 hits. 2 of them came in the 3rd inning. A double by Barney, and the next hitter, Jose Bautista, had a 2-run home run. And as Pat mentioned earlier, home runs were a problem for Pat Dean in the minors.
69 of them in 140 minor league games. When you're facing the Blue Jays, you have to hit your spots. If you make mistakes, they can leave the yard in a hurry.
This is a different defensive alignment. I have not seen this before. Russell Martin strikes out with 2 strikes. Dozier went to the pull side of the diamond. Generally with 2 strikes they stay opposite. It didn't matter as Martin strikes out.
Well, they must have something in their scouting report that says that Russell pulls the ball with 2 strikes. Might have something to do with the type of left-hander that is on the mound. A guy who's not really overpowering, or how they're going to pitch him.
Kevin Pillar with that terrific throw in the bottom of the 4th. His 5th assist of the season, his 18th career assist. Pops this one in the air. Shallow left center. Robbie Grossman gets there, cuts in front of Santana, and makes the play.
Grossman aggressively went after that one. Santana was deep in right center field. So Grossman had to take charge there to make the play.
Throughout this 3 games in the series, we have seen the outfield here for the Twins play real deep. As deep as anybody we've faced this season. Darwin Barney homered in his only at bat last night and hit a hard double to the alley in right center his first time up this afternoon.
I think he's seeing the ball really well.
Yeah, he's staying on all the pitches very effectively, and he has a swing that's easily maintained. Not a lot of moving parts to it.
Use your hands a little bit more. Showed off that power swing last night. I like how he finished his at bat last night with a little bat flip.
I asked him about that this morning. He said, I always fling the bat with my left hand, but I didn't mean to flip it the way I did. It kind of stuck in my glove and it kind of spun around as if I flipped it. But he said, when I swing and follow through, I swing it back with my left hand and toss it into foul territory. But that one kind of stuck in his glove and went up in the air like a bat flip.
I think Minnesota will try and drill him now.
No, they'll wait 7 months and do it.
Well, tomorrow, if he's in the lineup, they might wait till his last at bat. Well, we play back at Rogers Center.
Yeah, they'll be up at the Rogers Center. Of course, Bautista victimized by being hit by a pitch against the Rangers in his final at bat of the season against Texas.
And now Odor is trying to take advantage of that. He's going to sign autographs for money. Pictures of the punch for $99, June the 4th.
99, and people will absolutely line up to pay for $100 for the picture.
And if you want him to write an inscription on that, that'll cost you 20 more. Bat flip will get you fat lip. He says he'll write that on there if you want him to, for 20 extra bucks.
Wonder what Ted Williams would think about that. There's a restaurant in Texas that has offered Odor lifetime food because of the punch. That's all silly, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Darwin Barney again having an extended at bat, and he'll walk. A couple of good at bats for Barney this afternoon. That'll bring Bautista to the plate again with a man aboard.
This should be a very interesting at bat right now. He has put up incredible numbers in this ballpark against the Minnesota Twins. Darwin Barney's walk turns that lineup over and gets Bautista to the plate. Let's see how they pitch him.
Bautista's home run his last time up in the 3rd inning was his 13th career home run. This is his 20th career game in this ballpark. So he's hit 13 home runs in this ballpark in 20 games. That's a fair ball. Bautista's having a look down the line. Home plate umpire Toby Bassner called it fair, and Park retires Bautista to end the inning. Blue Jays leave a man aboard.
prospect, and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And there's not a whole lot going on this afternoon in Major League Baseball. White Sox playing Kansas City in Chicago. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. This is Young Ho Park, big first baseman. Park struck out against Happ his first time up. As we mentioned at the start of the show, Park leads the American League rookies with 9 home runs. Pops this one a mile high behind home. Martin now smoked the first baseman, calls for it, and Russell Martin says thank you.
I don't think Russell ever saw that ball. That is the first baseman's ball all the way. Russell aggressively going over there looking for that ball. He's got the sunglasses on. He's looking right up into the sky, right into the sun. Smoke had it all the way. Watch Russell. Looking for the ball, and still never saw it. It's over your shoulder.
That is such a great feeling of relief for a catcher when he hears the first baseman say, I got it. Thank you. 1 out. Robbie Grossman, switch hitter, grounded out to the third baseman his first time up. Grossman spent parts of 3 seasons with the Houston Astros. They released him in November. It's another ground ball. This one to Tulowitzki. 2 down. Boy, Jay Happ is back on track. We mentioned the rotation had one tough trip through the rotation. All 5 starters had kind of a hiccup. They've been so good up until the previous start. Then Marco Estrada got back on track here on Thursday night. Aaron Sanchez followed suit with 7 strong innings last night, and now Jay Happ pitching into the 5th, allowing just 1 hit.
A couple of those pitchers were pushed the previous start. That might had something to do with it. If you remember Jay Happ's start in San Francisco, he threw 111 pitches trying to get that complete game. And if you're not used to that, the body's not used to that, your next start, you could have some issues.
Trying for that complete game, went 8 2/3 and just couldn't get that final out. And then lasted just 2 innings in his next start. And you're right. I think it's all about conditioning. And I had a chat with Ross Atkins, the general manager of the Blue Jays, today about pitching and how some of the research and the studies they've done suggest that you get a pitcher over 100 pitches in a game today, chances are he's going to be a little worn down and more subjected to injury once they pass that 100 pitch plateau.
And they have numbers for that. They've got some history for that, and teams are starting to do that. Well, then if you push them one start trying to get them a shutout or trying to get them a complete game, the next start there's some periods where there might be some problems.
Yeah, they don't bounce back quite as effectively once you extend them, and I think it's just a matter of how they've been developed. And John Gibbons, he wanted Happ to have that opportunity to pitch a complete game.
So did Jay. Remember that? After he walked the batter, he did the dugout very upset with himself.
Darren Mastriani takes the ball low. Second walk issued by Happ. A 2-out walk here in the 5th. Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, he's got 999 career base hits. He popped out to the center fielder his first time up. Mastriani is off. Martin's throw is high, and Goins makes the catch. Mastriani has the steal, his first stolen base of the season.
On his first attempt of the season, he didn't wait around. He went on the first movement from Jay Happ trying to get something going here. Really no chance. Even if this is a perfect throw by Russell Martin, he was not going to get Mastriani, who was going on first motion. slides aggressively into second base for the stolen base.
Mastriani now has 25 career stolen bases.
That has been a big weapon in this series for the Minnesota Twins against the Blue Jays. The stolen base.
They steal at a high success percentage as well. They are third in the American League in stolen base percentage, behind Boston and New York. Well, Paul Molitor has allowed his base runners to be aggressive. They've now stolen 13 of their last 14.
Hey, when you're not scoring runs, you got to do something. You can't sit back. You got to stay aggressive and try anything. It backfired on him a little bit here on Thursday night.
In the 11th inning, Danny Santana, who had already picked up a couple of stolen bases in the ball game, got caught when he broke too early on Joe Biagini, and Biagini calmly stepped off the rubber and threw to second. That was the second out of the inning, and the Twins would lose. Pulled foul on the off-speed pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead thanks to Jose Bautista's home run, his 9th of the season. Bautista's creeping up the leaderboard in the RBIs. For Jose, RBIs number 32 and 33. That'll put him in a spot in the top 10. He'll be tied with Jackie Bradley Jr. at 33. That's tied for 3rd in the American League. Robbie Cano leads with 37. David Ortiz has 34. And then Jackie Bradley Jr. and Bautista. So despite coming into this game batting .229, he's still driving in runs.
Driving in runs, even out of the #1 hole in that lineup for the Blue Jays. Talking to some of the coaches early this morning, and they were really excited about this being a day game. I said, well, why? Why are you so excited about the day game? Normally, you don't like day games after the night game. He said, the way we were swinging the bats last night, we wanted to get to the ballpark really early today and start swinging again. Keep that good feel.
Another day game tomorrow, the series finale. Suzuki reaches for that outside pitch. The Blue Jays will have an off day on Monday in New York before they resume action on Tuesday night, a 3-game series against the Yankees. The Yankees won 8-3 last night behind CC Sabathia, who was just activated off the disabled list.
Today is Joe Girardi's 1,500th game as Yankee manager. Where does the time go?
Seems like he was playing for them just yesterday. Danny Santana's on deck should Suzuki reach base. Full count, 2 outs. Mastriani with a walk and a stolen base. He's at second. Pulled on the ground. Barney backs up. Long throw in time. So Jay Happ is through 5 innings. He's got a 2-0 lead.
Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to beautiful St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities of Minnesota. We are in Minneapolis at Target Field on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. The upper Midwest is basking in great weather right now, and a lot of Blue Jay fans in attendance, having a great weekend here. Sharing it with the Blue Jays, Ryan Goins did not start in this game, but he came in the bottom of the first as a defensive replacement for Josh Donaldson, who was ejected after his first at bat. We don't know any more details than what we saw on the field. Toby Basner, the home plate umpire, ejected Donaldson as he was making his way back to the Blue Jays dugout after grounding out.
My guess is it's a mistaken identity toss. Second time that Josh has been thrown out this month. Got thrown out in Texas. I think Josh might have been saying something to someone in the stands or someone in the dugout for the Minnesota Twins, and Toby Basner thought he was talking to him and gave him the heave ho.
Yeah, when Donaldson went back to plead his case to the umpire, it looked like he was pointing in the direction of the stands or possibly the dugout, but it looked to me like he said, I wasn't talking to you. Goins strikes out, 4 strikeouts for the left-hander, Pat Dean. And with Encarnacion, he has 9 home runs this season. And he has really hammered the ball upper part of the strike zone and on the inside half.
Yeah, there's a pattern that you see right here. Those red dots are all fastballs, and they're in or they're up and in. There's only been 1 home run that has been hit on a fastball that has been away where he pulled that ball. So that's why we naturally see all these pitchers trying to work Edwin away. They're throwing him a lot of off-speed stuff, trying to mess up with his timing. There's one away. 91 miles an hour on the outside corner. They're saying if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to beat me hitting the ball the other way. The mistake, the home run that he hit the other day was a mistake from Irvin Santana. They were actually trying to come inside and push him off the plate, and he missed out over the plate.
It was a 6th inning 2-run home run that he hit off Santana. That tied the game at the time. 2-2. Blue Jays would eventually win in 11 innings on Thursday night.
You know, the best way to combat what the pitchers are trying to do to him, do what Jose Bautista's doing. Get up on top of that plate and see how far you can hit it to left field. I guarantee you they will start to change. Start to pitch you in just a little bit more. Here's the home run that we were just talking about. This was against Irvin Santana. Watch the catcher. He wants that ball inside, but it comes back out over the middle. And in this ballpark with Edwin Encarnacion, it's not coming back.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Outside. Edwin has hit 7 home runs in this ballpark in 21 previous games. They stayed away from him, and he strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dean here in the 6th.
Well, he knows this is the 3rd game in the series playing against the Minnesota Twins. And look at where all those dots are on pitch tracker. Everything is away. So the adjustment has to be made where he's got to get on the plate just a little bit more and almost dare them to throw inside.
Well, both Encarnacion and Bautista are such good fastball hitters. There are not many pitchers that can get it by them. You stand on top of the plate, you take away any place for the pitcher to pitch.
In the Minnesota Twins, at least their starters, they aren't full of guys who throw 95 plus.
Justin Smoke. 2 outs in the air. He popped up the second baseman and then was robbed of a sinking line drive base hit by Darren Mastriani in right. 3-0. Tulowitzki is on deck if Smoke can keep the inning alive. Ball four. That'll get Tulowitzki to the plate. Third walk of the ball game issued by Dean. He's got 5 strikeouts and now 3 walks. Troy Tulowitzki's had a good day at the plate. He got an infield base hit in the second and lined out sharply to the shortstop in the fourth. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Suzuki saw something that he wants to talk over with his starter, Dean.
So did Paul Molitor, and that's why he's going to get that bullpen starting to crank up for him. Working a little bit quick, trying to get through this inning. He struck out the first 2 batters here in the 6th inning. Then he walked Smoke on 5 pitches. Now he's trying to get too quick.
Brandon Kintzler pitched on Thursday night against the Blue Jays. He's starting to loosen up. Molitor used 4 relievers in last night's game. Kintzler pitched an inning on Thursday night.
He hasn't been able to finish off his pitches here the last 2 batters, meaning reaching out and just finishing off his pitches. So everything is leaked off of the plate. Now if you're Tulowitzki, you're thinking extra bases right here.
Staying away. Not coming inside at all. Just a little late movement that caught the outside corner. Tulowitzki lifts it in the air. Bobby Grossman battling the sun stays with it and makes the catch. The inning is over. Tulowitzki flies out the left. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Jay Happ pitching with a 2-0 lead.
Cup continues tonight. It is the Wheat Kings and the Huskies, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. It is tonight on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet 360. Buck.
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And this Blue Jay fan just proposed to his girlfriend, and she said yes. He's from Toronto, and he came down and made arrangements for this opportunity here. Congratulations.
He's wearing the Blue Jays jersey. She's wearing the Minnesota Twins jersey.
Well, that'll change now that they're married. Danny Santana lead things off here in the 6th. Jay Happ has allowed just 1 hit. So leadoff double to Eduardo Nunes, who was erased on a tag up and great throw by Kevin Pillar. In the 4th inning, Nunes doubled to start the inning. Sano hit a high fly ball to center field, and Nunes tag tried to advance to 3rd, but Pillar gunned him down for his 5th assist of the season. The Twins have had just 3 base runners, 2 walks in that double. Jay Happ is right back in the groove.
Yeah, right back into the groove, and they got to keep this guy off the bases here to lead off the 6th inning. He makes things happen whenever he gets on base. They've got a runner to second base just twice. That's what happens when you get that sinker back, and he's been throwing his sinker today, the little two-seamer to right-handers, getting plenty of ground ball outs.
Santana just reached out and poked that into the seats, covering that outside pitch. Santana popped out to center his first time up. So far in this series, number 9 hitters had 4 hits. This is a big out for Jay Happ, first out of this inning, but more importantly, keep Santana off the base.
Absolutely. He can run, and you know Paul Molitor is going to want to try and do something.
Happ takes care of Santana. Strikes him out to start the 6th.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Leadoff man Brian Dozier has flied out twice this afternoon. He's 1 for 11 in the series. It's another high fly ball, not that deep. Pillar calls for it and waits on it, makes the catch. Dozier's 0 for 3.
You know, you love those quick innings. Last inning, Jay Happ went to 3-2 counts on the last 2 batters, so it was an extended inning for Jay. That pitch count up. 3-2 on Santana, then Dozier makes an easy out. Love to see that. Love to see a guy come right back and just pound that strike zone.
Eduardo Nunes, his last time up, hit that ringing double to the wall in left field, right down the left field line. And Happ gets ahead of him.
You know, on a pitch just like that, I think they have to keep the ball up against Nunes. He's an outstanding low ball hitter. That was a fastball that was down and in.
Pops this one up. It'll be out of play.
Aaron Sanchez took care of him yesterday with a couple of high fastballs that just rode up around the letters and couldn't catch up to him. We also saw Marco Estrada use his fastball up in the strike zone against Nunes.
Estrada and Sanchez, 2 great starts here in Minnesota. Marco went 8, Aaron went 7. Blue Jays won both of those games. Jay Happ has it. Another good inning for Jay Happ. We'll go to the 7th, 2-0 Blue Jays. Michael Saunders, a 3-hit game yesterday, 0 for 2 so far. Russell Martin and then Kevin Pillar.
Soon, and if you want to go to a number of Blue Jay games, why not get a Blue Jays ticket package? You pick the games and reserve seats that will get you closer to the action. Start from 10 games up to a prorated full season. We'll find the package that best suits your needs. Go to BlueJays.com and learn about all the great benefits of being a Blue Jays ticket package holder. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis. And Blue Jays will finish up this series tomorrow before an off day on Monday, and they'll resume play in New York against the Yankees Tuesday night. This is Brandon Kintzler.
Blue Jays saw him the other night. Kintzler has spent 4 years in the major leagues with Milwaukee Brewers. He was signed as a free agent last December, a minor league free agent. He's gotten into 5 games this year. There are his numbers. Lefties .750. I'm sure there's just a few at bats with that in his 5 games. Doesn't throw real hard. Small guy, but he generates a mid-90s fastball. He'll stay ahead in the count, throw a lot of strikes.
Kintzler pitched the 10th inning of the opener on this series on Thursday night. Kevin Jepson, who is closing, pitched the 9th, gave up a double, nothing more. Then Kintzler came in a 2-2 game. Kintzler gave up a double to Jimmy Paredes leading off the inning, but then was able to avoid it as the shortstop Nunes made a good play on Jose Bautista to end the inning. 2-0 to leadoff man Michael Saunders here in the 7th.
Gotta get something on. They haven't had a hit since the 3rd inning. Last hit by the Blue Jays was that home run by Bautista.
High fly ball to right. That ball's carrying Mastriani right on the edge of the warning track, right up against the wall at the 365 mark. Makes the catch. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Some good defense here this afternoon from both ball clubs. Aaron Mastriani made a nice sliding catch in right, and Kevin Pillar made a terrific throw to third base to gun down Nunes trying to advance. Russell Martin, the catcher, hits the ball on the ground. Base hit to right field. It looks so easy, didn't it?
You mentioned it his last time up that they play him to pull. And that's not his game. He's got to slow things down and shoot some balls to right field. And Russell's going to take advantage of that hole on the right side, take that fastball. You see how he stayed on top of it? Shorten that leg kick a little bit. That kept him compact. He's able to hit the ball to right field. So the Blue Jays pick up that first hit since the 3rd inning.
That's only the 4th hit the Blue Jays have had this afternoon. Kevin Pillar 0 for 2. Not much of a stop there from Kintzler. Missed with the first pitch.
I don't think Russell Martin's going to be stealing it all. Tim Leeper, you can see how upset he is that he wasn't getting that pitcher to stop. Much better that time.
Pillar faced Kintzler on Thursday night, and he grounded out to third. That was an opportunity with Pillar batting a man at third base and 1 out. And he pulled the ball to third baseman. Paredes, who had doubled, had to stay put. And then it looked like Bautista had a base hit up the middle, but Nunes made a sliding catch and threw it from the ground. Joe Mauer at first caught a 1-hop throw, and that ended the threat in the 10th.
Looked like that ball was heading into center field for a base hit. Let's see if the Jays can string a couple hits together here.
Strike 3 call. Pillar didn't like the call. Joey Basner brings him up. Fastball away.
He's got good command. He's got a little tail on this fastball also. Watch him bring it back right on the outside corner. Framed up by Suzuki. It's high enough. Just a question if it caught the plate. Pilar didn't think so.
Darwin Marnie's had a perfect day at the plate. He has doubled and walked. He doubled ahead of Bautista's home run. Scored the first run of this game. Marnie shows bunt. Troop was way back at third, but Marnie took a ball outside.
Hey, that's another heads-up play right there by Darwin Marnie. Say, well, aren't you supposed to hit a double with a guy at first base and 2 outs? Yeah, normally, unless you have Jose Bautista on deck. Then you try and just get on board.
Little bouncing ball back to the mound, and Kinsler fires the first to end the inning. Blue Jays strand a base runner. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 Jays.
You'll be hosting 14 Honda Super Camps across Canada. Learn techniques from Blue Jays former greats as Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps. And Buck, the New York Yankees have just announced that Alex Rodriguez will be activated off the DL in time for the series with the Blue Jays Tuesday night. So it should be an interesting series next week in New York.
Rodriguez has been out on a DL assignment with a hamstring injury, so he is back. They just got CC Sabathia back, and he's scheduled to start the final game of that series on Thursday night. Jay Happ has been in the gym here this afternoon. 1 hit through 6 innings, just 71 pitches for Happ.
Boy, it'd be nice to get him through this inning and then maybe next inning. He has kept the pitch count down. Just 73 pitches now as we begin the 7th inning.
Miguel Sano has drawn one of the 2 walks Happ has issued this afternoon. That's a good pitch. Sano had a little beef with the umpire last night, Andy Fletcher. Didn't like a couple of calls in a at bat late in the game, and he stayed in the game, but he pointed to the outside with his bat saying that's a ball.
What did Andy have to think about that?
Yeah, I don't think Andy was too pleased about that, and I'm sure that someone talked to Sano saying you better have to keep your thoughts to yourself, especially when you're a young player.
You don't need to be so demonstrative up there.
Jay Happ with a strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts now for the big lefty as he strikes out Sano to start the 7th.
Changing speeds, hitting your spots. Threw a fastball up, and then he followed that up with this little changeup down and away. In a good spot, that's a free swinger up there, so you can go all over the strike zone to pick up the strikeout. Gets the first out here in the 7th inning.
Trevor Plouffe is 0 for 10 in this series. The Blue Jays have pitched him tough, getting everything overthrown and breaking balls to start at bats. Happ got him swinging in the first on a high fastball.
Yeah, he used that high fastball, and then he got him to ground out. One of the reasons I think Jay has been pitching so successfully this year is he knows he doesn't have to be perfect anymore. He doesn't have to throw that perfect pitch every single time. Just stay aggressive. He's got so many ways to get you out now. He can turn the ball over, he can cut it, he can still use that 4-seamer.
It's a high fly ball to left. Saunders having trouble with the sun. Tries to get an angle on that ball and does. Used his glove to shade his eyes. He stayed with it and picks up the 2nd out of the inning.
Please get some clouds up there to give me some depth perception. But he does it right. See how he's turned his body? Turn your body, try to get on the side of that ball. Block off the sun with that glove. Keep the glasses down and make the catch. He's had some trouble out there with the lights during night games. That time the sun almost got him.
Young Ho Park 0 for 2. Big first baseman has struck out and popped out.
The thinking the Twins had in the offseason was, you know what, Torrey Hunter retired. We need to replace his value. 20 home runs and 70 RBIs. So they went and found Park. They think he's going to put those numbers up. But there might be a period of adjustment as he tries to learn his way around the American League.
Park hit 210 home runs during his career in Korea. He's got a long swing, and Happ strikes him out for the 2nd time. 3 up, 3 down. No problem for Jay Happ in the 7th. 8th inning coming up. Bautista goes in Encarnacion. The all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Jose Bautista came into this game with a career .359 batting average and 12 home runs in this park. Target field, well, this is number 13. He unloads in the 3rd inning after a double by Darwin Barney. Sets that one into the stands in left field. Jose Bautista has our drive of the game.
Take a look at the career home run numbers for a couple of great hitters. Jose Bautista is the power hitter. He's hit 13 home runs in 92 plate appearances, while the batting champ, 3-time batting champ, Joe Mauer, is not a power hitter. He has just 19 home runs and over 1,100 at bats here at Target Field.
1,700 plate appearances for Joe Mauer in this ballpark, and Jose's almost caught him. And I asked him a couple of years ago, I said, what is it about this ballpark? And he said, it's not really the ballpark. It's the pitching that the Minnesota Twins have had. And we talked about that through the series, that they just don't have those guys who throw 95 plus. They're around the plate. They don't blow the ball by you. And for a home run hitter like Bautista, you're playing right into his hands. I think this is actually a big ballpark. When you look at the numbers down the left field line, it's 339 down the left field line, 377 to the power alley.
Yeah, the power alleys aren't deep. There's no question about that. 365 in right center. That's not deep, but it's a tall wall. In right field, the fence is 23 feet high. Bautista spoils a pretty good pitch.
411 to center field.
Yeah, that's big boy territory. You hit it out there, you've earned it. But it's a gorgeous ballpark. I think it's a very good hitter's background because everything seems close to you. And it seems like you really got the advantage against the pitcher in this ballpark. Bautista draws the walk. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Danny Duffy started for Kansas City. He just went 4 1/3. He didn't allow a run on 4 hits and struck out 3. Now they're into the bullpen. Peter Moreland is into the ball game now, the reliever in Kansas City, after a slow start. Starting to pick things up. They're a game over 500. Chicago atop the AL Central. They have a game-and-a-half lead over the Cleveland Indians at 25-17. Ryan Goins fouls it back. Goins 0 for 3, and he thought he was going to have the start of the game off. That wasn't the case, as Josh Donaldson was ejected after his first at bat, and Goins was thrust into the game immediately. Took over at the bottom of the first.
They had some choices. Do they go with the offense with Paredes? Do they go with the defense with Goins? And they went with the defense. Now he's got a chance to help him offensively. His first 2 swings, he was trying to pull the ball. That hole with Park holding Bautista on at first base, he was trying to pull. Now he needs to just level it out, go the other way.
Strike 3 call. Toby Bassner rings up Goins. Second strikeout for Kinsler. 7th by the Blue Jays this afternoon.
You know, unfortunately for Ryan, this tailing fastball, he thinks it's outside, but it's called a strike. Nothing you can do about that.
Encarnacion, batting 3rd in the lineup once again, has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. Struck out both times, and they have really pitched him away.
Stayed away from him. See if Edwin makes the adjustment and gets on top of that plate.
Another pitch away for strike.
And that ball looks like it's outside. If you're standing off the plate like Edwin is and you think it's away from you, you can't reach it.
Back the same pitch. Ball and a strike. You know, if you're as big and powerful as Encarnacion and you get up on top of the plate, pitchers get intimidated because there's no place to pitch. All of a sudden, you don't have that big area away because it becomes the middle of the plate once you creep up on the plate.
You can reach that pitch now. You're right. Pitchers, they don't pitch inside like they used to, for a purpose. And if you're on top of the plate where your hands are basically hanging over the plate, there's no place for that pitcher to go.
2-1. Sharply hit into left field. Got a little bit too much of the plate that time, and Encarnacion Collects just the 5th hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon.
They tried to keep going away, but that comeback fastball came back out over the middle of the plate, and that's probably going to knock the right-hander out. There's Encarnacion. He's loading up on that backside, trying to get that ball airborne, but single sharply into left field.
So Kitzler goes an inning and a third. He leaves after the base hit. It'll be the lefty. Turning around Justin Smoke. He'll bat right-handed against Fernando Abad when we come back. Fernando Abad making his second appearance in this series. He came in to face Justin Smoke on Thursday and gave up a base hit to Smoke. He's going to try it again this time.
Pulled that ball to left field. Right-handers hitting .314. Lefties have not got a hit off of Abad this season. Let's take a look at it back Thursday. Breaking ball, and he loops it into left field for a base hit. Abad has had the longest scoreless streak by a Twins pitcher this year, 9 2/3 innings, so he's pitched effectively out of the bullpen, but he's going to pitch with a couple of runners on, and Smoke and Tulowitzki coming up, two of the hotter hitters the Blue Jays have.
Tulowitzki had the RBI off of Abad. That was the game-winning RBI. So Bautista's at second. He walked. Encarnacion's at first. He singled to left field. Justin Smoke goes after that first pitch. He looked for a fastball after hitting that breaking ball on Thursday.
He knew exactly what was coming right there, and Bob put it in a good spot for him.
Justin Smoke leads the American League hitting close and late. That's in close games, 7th inning or later. He's hitting .619. Ground ball up the middle. Flip to second, Dozier to first, double play. This time Abad wins the matchup. He gets the double play off the bat of Justin Smoke. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
experiences as they happen with friends and fans back home. With Roam Like Home from Rogers, you can use your phone exactly as you do at home, starting at $5 a day in the U.S. Go to rogers.com/roamlikehome for details. Buck, today sitting right beside me, I have a group of people from Kekabeka Falls, which is near Thunder Bay, Ontario. What a great name for a place.
Kekabeka Falls near Thunder Bay, and there are a lot of people from all across Canada. So Barry's making some good friends here today. And the Blue Jay fans have been entertained to a heck of a ball game. Great series so far.
We met about 50 of them after the ball game yesterday. They all had cell phones, if you know what I mean.
Robbie Grossman. It's hit hard past Tulowitzki. Robbie Grossman with a leadoff single. His first hit of the ball game. Only the second hit Hap has allowed.
He retired 11 of the previous 12 batters before that base hit by Grossman. He's been up there swinging since they acquired him. Had a big game yesterday. Was also robbed of a hit yesterday. Robbed of a hit today by Darwin Barney. And this time, Troy Tulowitzki almost robs him on that dive.
Darren Mastriani, the right fielder. Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a ball. Mastriani walked and had a stolen base in the 5th as Gavin Floyd starts to loosen up for the Blue Jays. Happ got a double play in the 4th, but it was a fly ball, throw him out a 3rd double play as Pilar made a terrific throw to 3rd to gun down Nunes trying to advance. He's not thrown as many ground balls today as we have seen earlier in the season.
Just 6 so far today. He could use one right here.
He's done a good job of mixing up his pitches. He's had more outs in the air than we normally see, but nothing has really been hit hard outside of the Nunes double in the 4th. Well, he got that in a good spot.
The pitch seemed to surprise Mastriani. Pushed him back. That's the stat right there that's important. 11 double play ground outs, 2nd in the American League. Only Martin Perez has thrown more.
Mastriani protecting that outside corner. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead, and that's significant because they are 0-11 when scoring 2 runs or less. Another example of how good the pitching has been for them. Happ leading 2-0. The Blue Jays are 4-16 when scoring 3 runs or less. Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, waits on deck. It's a full count, nobody out.
Boy, this is a big pitch right here for Jay.
And he walked him. Mastriani walks for a 2nd time. 3rd walk of the ball game issued by Happ.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo. The 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Great day at the ballpark. Have a hot dog, have a good time, watch a great ball game. And Pete Walker's out to talk to Jay Happ. This is a twofold discussion right here. This is talk about the possibility of a bunt. The tying runs are on base. It's a 2-0 ball game. Grossman singled to start the inning. Mastriani walked, and now Kurt Suzuki. Blue Jays are expecting a bunt right now.
Let's talk about how we're going to pitch to Suzuki. Let's also talk about our bunt defense. It looks like they're going to play it straight up with Suzuki. You can see Darwin Barney, the 3rd baseman. He's tilted towards the infield. Anything hit on the ground hard to him, he will field it.
Jay Happ makes the catch on the bad bunt. Suzuki pops it up. That's a huge out for Happ. Fundamentals. You got to execute the fundamentals, and Suzuki had a sacrifice bunt earlier in the season, but this time he pops up.
You know, there's plenty of speed on the bases, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The problem Suzuki had is he dropped the barrel of that bat below his hands, and anytime you do that, that ball's going to go straight up into the air. Bunts it right back to J-Happ. If he caught that ball with his feet underneath him, he had a chance for a double play, but he has to dive for this ball and alertly checks where those runners are.
Down the right side, that's a base hit. Coming around third is Grossman. Mastriani's being waved. Here's the throw from Goins, and not in time. Danny Santana, with just his second hit as a right-handed hitter, has tied it up.
He has been a thorn in the side for the Blue Jays this whole series. And after the bunt is popped up, Santana cashes in a couple of runners, and unfortunately for J-Happ, he's going to be taken out of this game, and he can't win it now. He's pitched such a beautiful game getting into the 8th inning and will not have anything to show for it.
Prior to that hit, Danny Santana was 1 for 17, batting as a right-handed hitter, a 2-run double. Gavin Floyd into the game to face Brian Dozier. To the right field corner.
He used his legs also on the bases. Ryan Goins throws a strike, but there's some speed on the bases. Mastriani can really run. He scores all the way from first base, the tying run, and now Santana, we told you he can run. Gavin Floyd into the ball game. The 8th inning, man, and he needs a big outing. 16 games this year, 1-3 with a 225 earned run average. He's only walked 4 batters. But something to keep in mind, he's got a very high leg kick, and Santana has shown the ability to steal bases. He might try and steal third base, get to third base with less than 2 outs. That is a tie-breaking run out at second base, so you got to keep an eye on him.
Santana, his first extra base hit, batting right-handed. Only his second hit of the season. So John Gibbons did the right thing. He left Happ in to keep Santana batting as a right-handed batter, but Santana crossed up the strategy. So Floyd works to Dozier, who's popped up 3 times. Got to keep an eye on Santana at second. There he goes. Pitches inside and hit him.
Oh, what a break.
That was a huge break for the Blue Jays. Santana has to go back to second. The ball is dead when it hit Dozier.
Looked like a curveball from Gavin Floyd that he was going to try and bend to Dozier, who is a first pitch fastball type of hitter. The Twins picked up on that. Santana takes off. Watch the breaking ball. Just clip him. Santana had that base stolen.
Wasn't going to be close. He had a running start. So now the Blue Jays will deal with Eduardo Nunes, who has doubled today. Nunes is a very good breaking ball hitter, and that's Floyd's strength, that great curveball. 2-2 ball game. The Blue Jays have neutralized Nunes with the fastball so far in this series. He has just 2 hits and 11 at bats.
And one of them was today. It was a pitch that was down. They have kept that fastball up this whole series against Nunes. That's how you neutralize him.
He knows he's got to get that bat started on the fastball. They have beaten him with the fastball, and he couldn't check his swing on that pitch inside. Nunes asked for time. Russell Martin wants to talk things over. Martin has been behind the plate and watched the swings of Nunes, so he knows where they can beat him. Now it's a matter of Floyd executing.
And I think you also have to take into consideration the speed that's on the bases. Throw a looping breaking ball. Just takes a little bit longer to get to the plate. If the runners are taken off, Russell Martin will have no chance to try and get him on the bases on that steal attempt.
Floyd used that inside move to chase Santana back.
The Blue Jays will use the daylight play, meaning the second baseman will slide in behind that runner, and if he shows him his open palm of his hand, that means he wants the ball.
Swing and a drive deep to left. Nunes has just hit a 3-run homer.
Minnesota Twins have not had a lot to cheer about, especially here at Target Field. But this inning, they've got something to talk about. Nunes, a good low ball hitter. You got to elevate it. They've done it the whole series, and they've kept him at bay. But this time, Gavin Floyd's fastball is in, and it's down and out. His 3rd home run of the season.
A 5-run inning for Minnesota.
Fastball, and you know, you got the speed on the bases also, so it's not a bad idea to throw the fastball. Just missed his spot right down the middle, and Nunes got some talent.
It's the first 5-run inning for the Twins all season long. And it comes in the 8th inning this afternoon. Sano strikes out. 2nd out of the inning. Well, what a tough inning for the Blue Jays after Robbie Grossman had a leadoff single. Mastriani walked, and then Suzuki popped up the bunt. Looked like the Blue Jays caught a break then. But then Danny Santana tied it up with an opposite field double.
Just stuck his bat out there, went right with the pitch. It wasn't a poor pitch by Jay Happ. Just a guy who has put up a pretty good series against the Blue Jays so far, defensively, offensively, on the bases.
So Jay Happ is charged with all 3 runs here, and he's on the hook for a loss. Gavin Floyd, the 3-run homer, he's charged with 2 of these 5 runs.
Sometimes the game just isn't fair, is it? I mean, he was absolutely on cruise control. Pitching into the 8th inning. A walk, a hit, and a double.
Robbie Grossman has been a real spark since he's joined the Twins. He got it started with that base hit to left, his first hit of the afternoon. It was only the 3rd hit that Happ allowed all afternoon. So Happ's line 7 1/3. He's charged with 3 earned runs, and they all come here in the 8th inning, part of a 5-run inning. Inherited runners continue to be a problem for the Blue Jays bullpen. They've given up one more today. Now it's 27 of 62 inherited runners have come in to score. 43.5%. That's the worst percentage in the American League. Popped up behind second. Goins, I'm sorry, calls for it. Goins makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But for the first time this season, Minnesota has scored 5 runs in an inning, and they take a 5-2 lead. Jay Happ deserved a much better fate here this afternoon. Over 7 1/3. He threw 95 pitches, allowed 3 hits. He gave up the double to Danny Santana, then tied it up, and then he's charged with Santana as Gavin Floyd gave up the 3-run home run. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts for Jay Happ, and he is on the hook for the loss.
Unfortunately, Kevin Jepsen, the closer for the Minnesota Twins, will come in. He's 2-4 with an ERA just under 5. He's only worked 16 1/3 innings. And to tell you how tough it has been for the Minnesota Twins this year, this is the first 9th inning save opportunity for a Twins pitcher in the month of May. They just haven't had the opportunities, but with that 3-run home run, they've put him in the lead. And now Kevin Jepsen, the fireballer, will have a shot to close it out.
Jepsen pitched the 9th inning of the game on Thursday. Gave up a 2-out double to Michael Saunders, but then Troy Tulowitzki hit one to deep center field that Danny Santana ran down on the warning track. He kept it tied at 2-2.
He hits a ball like that today, and it's gone. But right now, the Jays, they just need some base runners.
Jays trail by 3. On the ground, big hop for Nunes. One down.
How about the confidence Nunes is playing with this series?
Nunes is swinging the bat well. Today he has a double and a 3-run home run. Came into this game batting .325, 2 for 4 today.
He hasn't even been their everyday shortstop. Their everyday shortstop, Eduardo Escobar, is on the disabled list.
Michael Saunders hits one high and deep to right into the second deck. Home run for Saunders. Home run number 8, RBI number 15. And the Blue Jays have cut into the lead.
He is swinging with a lot of confidence right now. Lefties, righties, it doesn't matter for Michael Saunders. What a month of May he is putting together. That's going to be his 4th home run in the month of May. A .324 batting average, and he gets the Blue Jays 1 run closer. And now DeMarlo Hale and John Gibbons talking about their options down in that Blue Jay dugout. You know, and I'm sure Jimmy Paredes, his name has come up. One more time, you're up by 3 runs. You got to challenge guys. Saunders knows that, and he puts a charge into that one.
Russell Martin had a single through the right side of the infield his last time up.
One more time for Saunders. Gets those hands going. And he can break it down early.
It's only the 6th hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon. This is popped up behind home. Kurt Suzuki flips the mask off and makes the catch. So Kevin Pillar trying to keep the Blue Jays' hopes alive here with 2 outs in the 9th. Jimmy Paredes indeed has grabbed the bat. He's come out on deck.
You know, all you're hoping for when you fall behind like this late in the ball game, give me a shot to tie it up. He will represent the tying run if Kevin Pillar can get on base.
Kevin Pillar 0 for 3. On the ground, Booth has it, takes his time. Ball game. Disappointing loss for the Blue Jays. They went into the bottom of the 8th with a 2-0 lead in Minnesota for the first time all season.